And a very good Friday to you, racing fans. Welcome to Blinkers Off on TVG. I'm Rich Perloff in Los Angeles, sitting in for Matt Carruthers, but never fear, because Matt Carruthers is going to be a presence on this show through the miracle of modern technology, like Tupac Shakur appearing at concerts long after his untimely demise. Matt Carruthers going to be a presence on 58 Flat. He is near Des Moines, Iowa. He's out there for the Iowa Festival of Racing, and through the FaceTime technology, we're going to bring Matt in to talk about the racing out there in Iowa. And there he is, Matt. You look beautiful. Where the heck are you?
Oh, I'm doing well, although on FaceTime, the face looks so distorted. I feel like when I was a kid and I was like at the carnival and you had those skinny mirrors and fat mirrors. It's not, no one looks very good on FaceTime except for you, Rich Perloff.
Well,
you're as handsome as always.
You know what, Matt, as I look at you right now, I'm reminded of Paranormal Activity 2. It's that kind of a thing, you know?
I was told not to move very much, so I'm bringing my coffee into the frame right now.
Very
you know
slowly.
How I need my caffeine.
Very slowly with the coffee. All right. Okay. Now, the Iowa Festival of Racing, Matt, which you have attended in the past, is an event that has become more and more prominent and important over the years. Horses are coming out of Iowa and winning graded stakes races across the country. We're looking right now, Matt, at what's going on. 6 stakes races worth over $1 million in purses, and of course, our account holders will benefit as well. 5 times wager rewards points when they play and contest the Midwest Sweepstakes.
Yeah, exactly. If you bet $10, all you do is bet at least $10 to win on the Iowa Derby or the Cornhusker, and then your name put it in the sweepstakes, and it's winner take all $4,000. You don't want this anyway. I would say there's more stars going to be performing tomorrow, Rich. When you have a millionaire and awesome gem in the Cornhusker, you have Successful Dan, who's an elite handicap horse, going in that race as well, $300,000 event. You have Hanson, the first time ever that Iowa, Prairie Meadows, has had a Rainy Eclipse Award winner perform on its soil. And Hanson's going to be hard to beat in the Iowa Derby. So the stars are out tomorrow, but I think the betting opportunities are better probably this evening. And you have some real good betting races in the stakes in terms of the Saylorville, the Iowa Distaff, and a real interesting edition of the Iowa Sprint, a race in which some big-name horses have won over the years. Majestic Perfection won it a couple of years ago for Steve Asmussen, set a track record 107-1. Then he beat Big Drama in the Vanderbilt. I actually thought he should have won an Eclipse Award, Big Drama, because he won the Breeders' Cup Sprint, got that nod. Benny the Bull won here in 2008. He won an Eclipse Award, and a pretty salty rendition. Rothko will be your heavy favorite later on this evening.
Yeah, Majestic Perfection, a horse that would have gone favored in that year's Breeders' Cup Sprint had he not sustained an injury. And we're looking now, Matt, at a list of horses that have won big races at the Iowa Festival of Racing in the past. It's quite remarkable. A number of horses that went on to Breeders' Cup success. You mentioned Majestic Perfection. We've got Benny the Bull, Captain Steve on the list, Unbridled Elaine.
Roses in May, right?
Roses in May. Skimming, who went on to win back-to-back editions of the Pacific Classic. So a lot of horses, and I'm not sure whether it's where these races fall in the national calendar. It just seems to be an attractive spot for horses to pass through en route to their fall campaigns.
Yeah, I think it is the timing of it, Rich, because everyone's looking at about 2 months from now. You want to kind of be at your peak. And if you have a really talented horse who might be lacking in confidence a little bit, that's what Bob Baffert did with Captain Steve back in 2000 here. Captain Steve had lost 5 races in a row. He knew he had a really good racehorse, but he wanted to instill some confidence and also steal a pretty nice purse at the same time. He came to Iowa, he won here, and then he parlayed that into, obviously, wins the Dubai World Cup at 4, wins in the Don Handicap at 4, and I think that's what they're doing with Hanson as well. Mile and a 16th is Hanson's perfect distance in the Iowa Derby tomorrow night. He's 3 for 3 in a mile and a 16th. He got drubbed in the Kentucky Derby. He finished 9th. They still have big plans for this horse. Why not come in, go off at 1 to 9, probably win, the purse is $250,000, and get some confidence for the horse at the same time?
Okay, let me take you back to this evening's card. We'll talk more about the Iowa Derby in a bit. Iowa Sprint Handicap goes into race number 9 this evening. Rothko, coming off a big win in the Aristides at Churchill Downs, is the even money morning line favorite. Steve Asmussen and his go-to rider, Corey Nakatani. I'll be curious to see where you land in here, Matt. I have my eye on a possible upsetter.
Yeah, so do I. And Rocco shouldn't be even money, although he is the horse to beat. He's won 4 of his last 6. The only time he's been defeated, it's been to the Factor. So, he can't, Factor, one of the elite sprinters we've had in racing over the last couple of years, has been too fast for him. He doesn't need the lead. He's a lightly raced 4-year-old son of Arch who's raced 8 times. And his win in the Aristides awful layoff was pretty impressive to go 9-2 and earn a big 97 speed bias. Noble's Promise, who's a millionaire, another big star who's running here this weekend, the one horse. How about Kenny McPeak bringing him back in 6 days off of a huge performance in the Kelly's Landing, getting caught late in that race and finishing second? But maybe we're on the same horse here, Rich. I like Wired for 220.
Yeah, absolutely.
The 7 horse in here. Is that who you like as well?
Yeah. Yeah, he had a huge win locally.
Yeah, he likes this track. He's training great. He needed his last start, back on the 25th of May. It was his first start in the year, so second off the layup. Likes the surface, extremely quick, training well. I like Wired for 220 to get the lead in this race and be tough to catch. And last night I was playing a little bit as well. No surprise, I got in here about 4 o'clock.
Okay. We're going on to the Iowa Distaff now at a mile and a 16th, race number 8 on the program, Matt. Got a field of 6 in
Don't
here.
Don't like that on me, Rich.
What's that?
I lost. Don't scare me like that.
I lost a couple of syllables during your last answer, Matt. I'm sure.
Okay, it's all right.
I'm sure it was right on the money, whatever you were saying.
Yeah, I'm sure it was.
Okay. Okay, Iowa Distaff, field of 6, mile of 16th.
Yep.
Where are you headed?
Chalk. It's our guy, Tom Amos. The 4.
Okay.
Sterling Madam.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think this filly can lose. I mean, not only does she, she run the Florida Leah Grade 2, she loses to Royal Delta, who might be the best horse in training in the U.S. right now. Amos brings her back quickly. I think she's too talented. I think she's too fast this field. Leandro Consalves, Tom Amos, 7-5 morning line. It's probably going to turn into 2-5 or 3-5. I think she's gone and wins.
Race number 7 is the Saylorville. These are the sprinting fillies and mares. And Matt, you've got one of the greatest horses for courses I've ever seen in the 2-horse Sakakawea, who is 11 for 21 lifetime, but 10 for 12 at Prairie, and only missed by a neck in one of those non-winning efforts. She just absolutely loves this track. How can you play against the 3-time defending champion in the Mamie Eisenhower Stakes is what I want to know.
Yeah, that's a tough question to answer. But I mean, this is a salty group. First of all, no pun intended, with Salty Check on the outside, who's going to be your favorite or your second choice. I just think with Sakakawea, you have Starlight, Starbright, Focusy that goes tonight. Love that game when I was a kid. For Tom Amos, going to put tons of pressure on her early on in this race. I didn't really have a good feel for this race, Rich. I don't know about you. I'm going to go deep in the pick 4. And by the way, there's 3 pick 4s this evening and tomorrow. Beginning in races 2, races 6, and race number 7. You can play for 50 cents. I ended up kind of with a lukewarm selection. Don't Be Shy, I'll Buy, the 6. Rosemary Homeister, Eric Reed. You see, It's Tricky, who obviously won the Ogden Phipps Memorial Weekend, beating Asa Maria. Cece's Pal with Dutra Horse. Nicole H. She's spaced better. She can come off the pace a little bit. I'll go with her as a little bit of an upset at 6-1.
All right, we're watching her game win here in the Bold Brat Stakes on the Inner Dirt at Aqueduct. 3 back. Trainer Eric Reed's got an uncoupled 3-horse entry in that Saylorville, numbers 5, 6, and 7. Take note of that. All right, time to move on to the Saturday program with back-to-back-to-back graded stakes races. You already mentioned the Iowa Derby, where Hanson's going to try to get back to his winning ways. He's 2-5 on the morning line. He has been freshened up since the Kentucky Derby run, where I guess the connections felt they had to go onto the Kentucky Derby because he was a 2-year-old champion, etc. But now it's time to regroup and see where he really fits with this crop of 3-year-olds.
Well, I think it's interesting to see what they do. I mean, it's just a mile and a 16th. It's really committed to whether or not they're going to continue to look for maybe the Travers or the Haskell, or are they going to say, hey, we have a really good 7-furlong mile horse. Maybe the King's Bishop is a race we should target at Saratoga. I'm not sure what they're intending on doing. I know that, the quotes I've read from Dr. Hansen, they want him to relax a little bit. They want to see the Hansen that they saw in the Gotham. That's the Hansen they like best. They don't want Hansen to run off and get the lead and try to go wire to wire. They want him to sit a little bit. He might have the opportunity in this race with Alsvid right to his outside being very quick. He's probably going to win, Rich. The only horse that can beat Hansen maybe is Hero of Order. Because Hero of Order, even though he's back off form again, the 3, the last time he ran on dirt was the Louisiana Derby. And he did win the race, and he did beat a really good racehorse in Mark Valesky, who looked awesome winning the Peter Pan a few weeks ago.
Race number 9 on tomorrow's program is the Grade 3 Cornhusker Handicap. These are the older horses going a mile. And an 8th in here. Awesome Gem is just kind of a marvel at age 9. He just keeps on going.
Yeah, and he won his last start at Golden Gate via DQ. A little controversial with positive response, drifting out late. Awesome Gem making that late rush. Ended up running second, was moved up to first. Yeah, he's made nearly $3 million. With a win here, he'll be at that $3 million in his career. Headache won this race last year for the Ramseys. He's back in. Shadow Be Dancing, the 2, loves the racetrack. Successful Dan, outside of kind of a controversial DQ in the Clark, which was kind of an iffy call at best. You know, if he was a DQ from that race, he'd be looking to win his 6th in a row. He looked very good in the Ali Sheba. But, you know, I think if you're playing the pick 4 and you think Hansen's going to win, he probably is, you got to try to beat Successful Dan. Because you can't have Hansen Dan both in your pick. My price horse is the 1, Tap Town. And I think Michael Rivas has figured this horse out now. This horse, you know, didn't run particularly well on synthetic, 2-back or grass. He's back on dirt. And if you look at his last 2 dirt races, they were he crushed Shadow Be Dancing, who's a really good racehorse at Hawthorne in the crypto clearance on the 7th of April. And yes, Shadow Be Dancing might have needed the race. He still had everything his way on the front end, and Tap Town blew right by him. He's won his last 2 on dirt at 12-1 and 9-1. There's plenty of pace in this race. I think Tap Town is the price horse in here at 10-1 morning line. I believe the biggest price on the board morning line.
All right, 3 to 5 lifetime on conventional dirt is Tap Town. Maddie, We're looking right now at your top selections for all of the Iowa Festival of Racing's events. Want your play of the day, which I understand is on the undercard today.
Yeah, it's race number 6, which again kicks off one of the pick 4s at Prairie Mills. I love a horse, Rich. Big field. I haven't gotten the early scratches yet. They're not out. Field of 12 in race number 6. The 11, Be a Deacon. I think he's too fast for this field. He comes out of a $10,000 claiming event in which he ran 6th, second to last, but he drops in for $5,000. Aaron Shorter, the trainer, 5 for 16, 31%. Connections are hot. He exits a very quick 9-2 race. There was a tough race for the level at 10,000. Now he drops in for 5. Wide open event. Kick off the late pick 4 with a single of Be a Deacon at 8-1 morning line. The 11 in the 6th race. The race that is right before all the stakes activity tonight, beginning in race number 7 with the Saylorville.
All right, Maddie, we're going to wrap this up. I want to thank you very much for hanging in there with us via FaceTime. Enjoy the rest of your time out there in Iowa. We look forward to your coverage of the Iowa Festival of Racing.
Rich, you don't mind if the 2 of us just do this personally later, do you? If I get bored in my hotel room later on, can we do a little FaceTime, the 2 of us?
I look forward to that, Matt.
It's very calming seeing your face right on my computer screen.
All right, Maddie, thanks very much, and we'll catch up with you down the road. All right, that's Matt Carruthers via FaceTime weighing in on the Iowa Festival of Racing, where he is live and on site. Let's take a look and see how our prognosticators did last week. And here we go. Queen's Plate, Golden Ridge. Yeah, I like that horse too, I must say. And the 10th there, the King Edward, Stormy Lord. Okay, well, Paul hit the super there. The Highlander Stakes. There you go, Matt. Wait. A winner at 17-1. Matt, crazy. The My Deer Stakes. All right, Paulie gets a winner at 4-5. It just got in. And the Singspiel. Yeah, that was the oldsters in the Singspiel. Musketeer over Simard. Matt's play of the day. Finished 3rd at odds of 6-1. That was a rally point from Belmont, race number 11. And there's the ROI. That's Matt. That's just 142 to 1 shot, my friend. You got that in the bag. That brings us to our first break here on Blinkers Off. When we return, the Sarge, Nick Hines, moving in, and he and I will do a little handicapping for this weekend stakes action. Don't go away. Welcome back to Blinkers Off. Look who arrived during the break there. That's the Sarge, Nick Hines. And I note, Sarge, that you're getting a trial run on your Independence Day outfit here. You've got flags galore, sir.
I've got flags galore, flags all over the place, and what a better day than today to be with you on Blinkers Off and celebrating our nation's independence next Wednesday, July 4th. But this, of course, Blinkers Off preempting our independence.
You know why it's a good day to be with me on Blinkers Off today? Because
Yes,
you never
sir.
know when I'm going to be back on Blinkers Off.
That's a good point. I
You
think
see?
that
when the mat's away.
pertain to both of us. Yeah,
That's okay. We got some big races coming over the weekend. Our spotlight race, let's start there. That is the Shoemaker Mile, a race that has had Breeders' Cup implications over the years. Our spotlight races, as always, brought to you by Horse Racing Fantasy, where you can breed, train, and race your own stable of virtual horses. Go to horseracegame.com and check it out. Here is the field. Mr. Commons has been installed as the 2-1 morning line favorite. Mike Smith going to ride back. Mr. Commons was 60 cents on the dollar, Sarge, for the Grade 2 American Handicap when last seen. He brought his usual good rally, only second best behind upsetter Wilkinson that day.
Well, unfortunately, Wilkinson to the sidelines due to a colic surgery. Reports are that he will be fine, should be back in action within the next 90 days or so. But Mr. Commons, I guess the big question, were and are his best days behind him? Did he peak as a 3-year-old? Was he just ahead of the class? Some blamed Mike Smith for leaving this horse too much work to do, in addition to Mike Smith, who was aboard Geronimo in the Grade 3 San Francisco Mile, a race in which Hudson Landing won. Hudson Landing being piloted by Juan Hernandez, who's now a mainstay here in Southern California. But the pace scenario should suit Mr. Commons just right. But for me, I'm going to try and beat him.
You're going with a new shooter.
Yes, I am.
So tell us about this South American import.
Well, word on the street, the old master brings in a horse by the name of Suggestive Boy, who won the country's biggest race at the given level in Argentina. This is a 4-year-old son of Easing Along out of that Dams side, that being kin to the great Easy Goer. But nice to have this backtrack dating back to August 6th. This is the 2000 Guineas in San Isidro. Final race time on that particular day, going left-handed, 132-2. Horse that's 4 for 6, has been given plenty of foundation here on U.S. soil by the old master who's had such success with these South American imports, Passiana, Bayacoa, and contemporarily Candy Ride.
You know, it's always hard to assess where these horses fit in when they first come to North America, but back to back to back, Group 1 wins speaks well of his ability. I'm going to go to the number 6 horse in here, Corporate Jungle. I think Corporate Jungle is the now horse. Corporate Jungle just beat a horse 2 back called Trend. Now, we're looking at his most recent run. This is the Elkwood Stakes. He was a little bit fresh for this for trainer Chad Brown. 2 starts back, he ran the best race of his career, winning the Grade 3 Appleton at Gulfstream Park. He beat a horse called Trend, and I think that's noteworthy because Trend is one of the horses that beat Little Mike. Now, Little Mike shocked a lot of us in the turf race last time out. I got knocked out of the pick 4. Maybe I'm a little bit bitter, but I think Corporate Jungle's got a lot of upside. He's still very lightly raced, and I'll take him. He's going to sit a very nice stalking trip. He's 5-1 on the morning line. So that's a look at the Shoemaker. Now we get on to the supporting feature on Saturday, which is the 7-furlong Triple Bend Stakes. And Sarge, a race that's kind of meaningful for me. I remember being at Hollywood Park back in the day when Triple Bend lowered the world record for 7 furlongs to 1:19.4.
And it would be Rich Cream that would trump that. But
That's
this
right.
race was originally named the Lakes and Flowers Handicap back in 1952. Inaugurated, this will be the 61st running. And return of the factor at several horses, proving that Dubai Jinx No More, a horse that I would expect, as he is training locally, to come with his A game for your Hall of Fame trainer Bob Baffert. Rafael Bejarano, well, he's kind of giving you some semblance of Shoemaker back in the 50s with the exit of Joel Rosario winning 5 races on yesterday's card. But I'm going to go with the defending champ here, Rich. Smiling Tiger, a horse that I think kind of showed the fact that he still has some fire in the engine, coming off of a better-than-looked effort in the Grade 2 True North. In fact, This horse didn't really get away all that well. He appeared to, according to the trackman's comment, lose his footing, but he exploded late between rivals. Not quite as good. Caixa Electronica 4, Todd Pletcher and Mike Rapoli. Third start off the layoff, a horse that's a perfect 3 for 3 here at Hollywood Park, and he certainly has an affinity for the distance. What I like, Hall of Fame rider, getting acquainted with a horse that has real ability.
When he won this race last year, he went wire to wire, put up a 112 buyer. Has he changed his running style essentially, or is it just the fact that he's generally not a very good gate horse that puts him off the pace now?
That's a very good point, Rich. You know, there's a horse that did have some issues with the starting gate, perhaps some idiosyncrasies, but I think in the scheme of things, I would like to see rating tactics employed. I do feel that there's just so much speed in this particular race, and there are some comers, including a Central Intelligence for Ron Ellis, a horse that I think will be pressed. His hand will be pressed along the inside, but a wonderful wagering race if you believe you can beat the factor.
Well, I'm going to try to, and I'm going to go a little bit wacky here. I'm going to go to the 3-horse Mobilized for Gary Mandela. He's 6-1 on the morning line. I wouldn't play it, but anything less than that. Demand a price here, but here's the thing about Mobilized. He's always had a touch of class and ability for Gary Mandela. He's 6 for 23 lifetime, but consider this. When he races around 1 turn on synthetic, he's 4 for 9. I think this is where he's at his best. 7 furlongs, 7.5 furlongs. He's a very deep closer. He's going to be towards the back of the pack early, maybe even last in the early stages. He's going to get the right kind of a setup. He's going to get a very fast pace to run at. I believe that with Garrett Gomez riding back, he's going to be picking off horses on the turn back in distance, but demand the price on Mobilized because he's a Calbred and he is aiming pretty high in the Grade 1 Triple Bend. Going to Belmont Park now for their Saturday card. It's the Dwire at a mile into 16th, 1-turn race out there at Belmont. It's a Grade 2, and Joel Rosario, newly arrived in New York, starts out with Michael Matson, the favorite, Teeth of the Dog.
Well, he's no stranger to the reins, having won the Easy Goer, Speak of the Devil, just moments ago. Coming off a sharp win over this strip on June 9th, this is the perfect prep for the son of Bluegrass Cat. Michael Matz can do no wrong out there in Elmont, New York, winning at 38%. This, of course, the 95th runnings, names like Holy Bull of Gaijin, Conquistador Cielo, to name a few. And I believe we have a rising star in Teeth of the Dog. I believe things will set up just perfectly for him here and perfectly timed for Joel to arrive on the New York scene.
Yeah, I'm not going to dispute that. I think Teeth of the Dog is absolutely the horse. He was probably overmatched or too much too soon in the Preakness. Matz has now got him on track. I think he'll win here. The only other horse that I was considering was the 2 Fast Falcon with Rosie Napravnik, but really no match last time out for Teeth of the Dog, and I have a hard time believing that he's going to be able to make up that nearly 4-length margin by which Teeth of the Dog beat him last time. So I will take the favorite, sir. We're in agreement there.
Yeah, very unlikely that we're going to get 5-2 on Teeth of the Dog, which has set him up for the Summer Racing Series, including the Midsummer's Derby with the Travers and potentially onto the Haskell. And this 3-year-old picture gets awfully interesting because the older handicap division is a bit thin. Yeah. And, of course, we're hopeful that Bodemeister could make his way back into the mix as well. Horse that stamped his when he retires to go to a Windstar Farm at stud. I did want to mention the Shoemaker Mile is, of course, a win-in-your-in race, the first on U.S. soil going the mile turf distance. So it'll be interesting to see all the names that we have. Mark Sagalakis, Blaine Wright, Dale Roman shipping in, Neil Drysdale, and, of course, the old master, Ron McAnally. I absolutely love that price, by the way.
I'm glad you mentioned Mark Sagalakis. I like that horse quite a bit. I think he's biting off a little bit more than he can chew in the Shoemaker, but I always root for that barn. It's a small operation that does some good stuff.
Hoorah.
All right, you mentioned the Summer Racing Series, and it's funny that you mentioned that because we've got the UK Summer Racing Series on TVG coming up tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. Pacific time, 9 a.m. in the Eastern time zone. And you know who's going to be on tap tomorrow? The horse that right now has been installed by the bookmakers overseas as a prohibitive favorite to become the first British Triple Crown winner since Nijinsky in 1970. That is Camelot, who has just been crushing fields over there.
Well, he's a serious dude, and Joe O'Brien for his father, Aiden, proving that things can happen and miracles can happen. The first time ever that a father and son tandem won the Epsom Derby. And a horse that really reports were that he particularly didn't care for the ground there.
Right.
But I would expect him to continue his winning ways. Born to See, fresh out of the St. James Palace. Hopefully he'll make that quick return, Johnny Murtaugh aboard.
So tune in tomorrow and see what might be a British Triple Crown winner later on in the year when Camelot returns for the St. Leger. If all goes well, you know where we're not going to see a Triple Crown winner? That's in Canada, because the winner of the Queen's Plate not going forward to contest the Prince of Wales because doesn't like dirt. How crazy is this?
Well, that's interesting, but you have to respect Danny Vella for making that decision. It's unfortunate. A horse that I feel would have been up to the task, because those dirt attempts were a long time ago. He's a different animal these days, but trust in your trainer.
All right, that's going to do it for this edition of Blinkers Off. Matt Carruthers is back on the desk. You can email him, blinkersoff@tvg.com. For Nick Himes, I'm Rich Perloff. We're going to move over to the other desk and get you some live racing right after this.